Well, welcome everyone. We are all about energy. And tonight we are going to do our first of, I think, more to come energy updates. And this one will be for June 2021. And so we're so excited to do this. Um, uh, so Yaila is going to she's going to read the energy, and I'm going to do some astrology, which is one of my passions. And also, Peyton, she channeled the Pleiades before this recording, and so she's going to give us a message from the Pleiades. So we're going to start with Peyton.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Peyton. Just to give you a tiny bit of background, I am a conscious channel. So I don't do the kind of trance channeling that you may have seen. And I work primarily with the Pleiadians, several different dimensional groups of Pleiadians, and also several other beings. I work with the Arturians, the goddess energy, and also the archangels and Andromedan energies. But tonight, the energies that wanted to come through to talk to all of us about what is coming up this summer, especially what we can expect in June. The Pleiadians step forward to wanting to give all of us a message. So what I'm going to do, rather than doing an actual channeling, because that takes a little bit longer, is I'm going to just summarize the beautiful message they gave to me last night to share with everyone. So what and I can feel so much of their energy surrounding me. Yeah, I can feel they're so excited and they're so grateful whenever we ask them to come and speak to us. And so they're sending us so much love. They're making me shake, actually. So the message that they had for us, because if you're part of the spiritual community or if you're an intuitive community energy worker, you may have heard that big things are supposed to be happening in June. And so I was very curious to know what the Pleiadians' take was on that. Do they agree with that from their perspective? You know, if so, is there anything we should know? So here's what they had to say for us. They said, as we know, we are going through a very tumultuous time on the planet, which is not a surprise to anyone. But when it comes to what should we expect or what is going to be happening that we can prepare for, they are very lovingly reminding us that whatever is coming is what we create. So if we are looking out to sources of news that are telling us doom and gloom and selling fear stories, we are going to put ourselves on that timeline. So what their message for us was to make sure that we are telling our own story, especially as we come into these next 4 to 6 weeks. It's very important that we be the authors of our story and not looking to outside sources of information, because so many of the outside sources of information that we're looking to come from old grid systems. We're looking to 3D sources of news information to tell us what's happening. And when we do that, we connect with the energies that we're trying to leave as light workers. So the most important message they had for us, especially for this coming month, is to make sure we are looking inside ourselves for the answers. They said that those of us who are looking to outside sources of information, as they said, are going to have a more challenging time. So they said, tend to your field was the expression they gave me. So put your attention on what you want this next month to bring you, particularly now, because they actually described it as there's a war going on your planet to dictate the story, to determine the reality. And most of the people screaming the loudest to tell that story are not telling a story that you want to align yourself with as light workers. So they're saying, be the author of your story, especially right now. Looking outside of yourself is going to very likely put you on a path to a more challenging time over the month of June, because they said that we're going to go through, and Corey can speak more to this. They said we're going to be going through, and I'm going to get the words right. They said a very powerful astrological alignment that is similar to a portal. Is how they described it to me. And I don't know astrology, so I'll just give you the words that they gave me. And what they said is going to happen, and I had to write it down because I didn't quite know what it meant, they said it's going to propel humanity forward onto our chosen timeline. And so they said for light workers and those of us on an ascension timeline, this is going to be a time over the next 30 days where we are going to have expanded access to our multidimensional abilities. They said specifically if you're interested in developing your telepathy, your psychic abilities, anything along those lines that we consider multidimensional, this is going to be a very powerful window where that is supported by the universal energy. So they say it's a great time to work on those abilities. And so basically they're saying we feed the timeline that we will be on with our focus. So where we're putting our attention is what we're matching ourselves to. So don't give your power away is what they're telling us for the month of June. They said, and I love this, they said, you are the architect of your reality. Don't give that power away. So that is their input for us. A loving warning to, as we know, as light workers, stay focused on where we want to go, not on where other people may choose to go. So anyway, I hope that helps you. They were very excited to be asked to chime in. So
I had chills the whole time you were talking, Peyton. And that to me is always like confirmation of like truth. So powerful. Thank you.
Yes, very powerful. I have the chills as well. So would you like me to go next? I'll go next. Oh yes, we talked about that.
Astrology telling us. I can't wait to hear.
All right.
We will splice her in on that one. Thank God for editing.
This is the first time it's been the speaker to go out. Usually it's someone who's not talking.
I know. Here she comes.
The planetary energies have definitely.
Yeah, we'll edit you back in. Don't worry.
Yeah. Can you see me? Okay, there we are. Okay. But can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the perfect, I just got kicked off. And that would be the Mercury that is retrograde in June. So it's a great time to make amends if you have miscommunicated anytime this past year. It's a time to make amends, set your communications right. Okay. Also Mercury retrograde because it's in its home sign of Gemini. And Gemini is what we call, it's an air sign. So it can shift a lot. It's a mutable sign, which means it's always changing. That's one of the tougher energies. And in its home sign, this may be one of the toughest Mercury retrogrades that we go through because it's in its home sign. So if you're going to travel, just expect delays. Make more time for yourself. Expect miscommunication because Mercury is the mind and Gemini loves to chat. So that's the Mercury retrograde. Then we're going to have the planet Pluto retrograde. And that is, I believe, on the 1st. Well, it's going to be all of June. And so because now Pluto rules the underground, hidden secrets. It's in the sign of Capricorn, which rules institutions, government, those types of things. So, and it's in the 2nd house, and the 2nd house of Taurus, which rules money, comfy things. Taurus is ruled by Venus, so, all the love things. But specifically, this Pluto that is going to be retrograde in the 2nd house of Taurus is an opportunity to look at our finances. How do we want to restructure our finances going forward? And just to research, another one of those RE words, to research ways that you would like to, invest your finances, to just review your finances and start figuring out what you want to do with your finances moving forward. We also have Neptune. Neptune will be retrograde. Now, Neptune, it's going to be in the sign of Pisces. And Pisces is about, our fantasies. It's a very psychic sign. And it's the dreamer. So it's time to review some of those, your dreams, what you'd like to do in life. However, Neptune rules illusions. So it's a great time to do spiritual work. Like the Pleiadians were saying, look inside, do your inside work, your spiritual work. It's also, Pisces is a sign of escapism. So we have to make sure to just be conscious of whether we're using our learning spiritual work or meditation in forms of escape. It's something that maybe we might want to look at. Are we using our spirituality as escape? It's also a warning that if you if you have a tendency to drink, use drugs, it's a heightened energy to overindulge in those things. So that's something which coincides with the Pleiadians in saying that to not look for outside sources, alcohol, drugs, excessive of any kind, but to go within. All right, just not to an excess. We also have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces going retrograde in June. That's June 20th. Anything that Jupiter is the expansion planet. So anything that Jupiter touches or any sign that they're in expands. And so, as I mentioned before, Pisces is the dreamer and can be the escapist. But also it's a great opportunity for spirituality. So it's a good time to do classes in energy work or, Reiki, any forms of energy work or intuitive work, because retrogrades are great for learning, so it's a great opportunity to do that. This particular Jupiter retrograde is helping us to review the last 12 years. So so Jupiter rules the home and health and happiness and love relationships. So for any of those who are shaky about their relationships or, just looking to have a relationship, now is a good time to think about what kind of a relationship you would have. Getting into a new relationship generally indicates that it would start fast and end fast. But now's a good time. Counseling, doing some energy work with your relationships, about your relationships, together with your partner if you have one. So that's what the Jupiter retrograde in Pisces energy. And these are all big planets. These aren't small planets. These are all our bigger energy planets. We also have, Pluto, Saturn will be retrograde in June. And it's retrograde in Aquarius. So this is because Aquarius rules humanitarianism, a conscious group. Aquarius is that water bearer that isn't, everybody always thinks that Aquarius is a water sign because it is the water bearer. The water bearer gathers the water and gives it to everyone else, the humanitarian. So, and Saturn is, he's the principal, you know, he's the timekeeper, the one, it's the sign of karma, or it's the planet of karma. So, you want to make sure that you're reviewing, you know, issues involving a group conscious, the world, and make sure that you do it with integrity, because Saturn is that planet of integrity. So if you're pulling a fast one, as my grandmother used to say, if you're pulling a fast one or trying to take shortcuts in the area of humanitarianism, group conscious, the world, Saturn will bite you in the butt. And that's a big energy, a really big energy. We also have in June, we have Mars, which is our output energy. It's our masculine energy. And Venus, which is the feminine, you know, the love. They're both will be moving. Mars will be moving into Leo on June 11th, and will be moving into Venus at the end of June, June 26th. So these Venus and Mars will be moving into Leo. Leo rules the heart, you know, the big lion. So with and Leo is also the entertainer, you know, it's a fire sign, so it's big energy. It's big energy regarding what you love, who you love, how you love. So it will, you know, people will want to be out and about, okay, having a good time, because that's what Leo loves to do. And in Mars, it can bring, because it's our masculine output energy, we could see some heavy competitive energies with one another. We could even be, you know, competing against ourselves. So don't be so hard. Don't be hard on yourself. And we do have I'm almost done. We have a new moon in Gemini, and that will be on June 10th. And that's an air sign. It's a time to take a look at our ability to communicate, because Gemini loves to communicate. It's an air sign, which is the mind, but your mind can be also extremely busy. So to use the mind, you know, to start working on your ability to communicate. You know, you might need to, you know, take a look at maybe how you're communicating, and research how you might be able to communicate, because there's going to be a lot of communication regardless. So be kind. Try to be kind when you communicate. And the moon, of course, is our emotions. So it affects our emotions a lot. It'll be quite an emotional June. And then last is we have later June 24th, we will have a full moon in Capricorn. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Okay. So it's reminding us, I'm a Capricorn, so people always say, how are you doing, Corey? And I go, chop wood, carry water, chop wood, carry water. So it's a full moon, and it's just a reminder to all of us to you know, tend to the fields, you know, tend to the fields, tend to your home. You know, the energy it's going to be strong in June, but if we can, like I said, chop wood, carry water. You know, even when we're not feeling it, do it with integrity. Tend to your fields. It's an earth sign. So we really want to be grounded, because we have a lot of fire and air energy in June. So fire is that, and air is stuck in your head, blah blah blah, and communicate, blah 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 blah. And so what's needed a lot in June is earth energy, and we have videos that talk all about grounding and connecting to the earth. That will be something that will be so helpful to you, to everyone during June, is running that earth energy and grounding. So that's the astrology forecast for June. Yaila.
Thanks, Corey. That was really cool. I love how, all the different planets and what they're connected to, the different signs, how it emphasizes the different energies. And it's funny because, so how I don't know if I would consider myself a channel, but maybe it's just the Aquarius in me. I feel like since I work with my classes and groups, I usually try to tap into, who I am connecting with. So right now I'm basically asking the creator of all that is, source, universe, to tap me into the energy of those of you who'll be watching this video with us at, whatever point in time, beginning of June or throughout June, and you'll hear this message whenever you need to hear it. And so it was really interesting for me to hear both of you speak, because I'm like, oh yeah, that was some of the messages I was getting for the people watching. So I'm going to bring in some summaries as far as the key points, as far as energy to pay attention to for yourself, what can be helpful for you to work through this month, and any I'm hearing surprises that might pop in. So for the month of June, for everybody watching this video, because I know there's people that we reached who are actually they've been working through energy work at some way, shape, or form. And there's people who are being introduced to this for the very first time when it comes to energy work. And so a lot of these concepts can be kind of big. And so I always ask for just really precise and simple explanations. And when Peyton was speaking to the energy of June, and even Corey, where there's going to be some stronger energies coming through, what I'm seeing is that we're going to be pulled in a lot of different directions. There's going to be a lot of people's or outside influences trying to get us to go all these different ways. And so you will have a very strong temptation to be pulled by other people if you are not grounded in what you truly want, what your values are, and where you actually want to be going. If you're just on autopilot, you're going to be pulled down paths that are not best in alignment for you. So you really want to be careful about, like Peyton was saying, where are you getting your information from? Does it actually align with you? And do you really want to be going down that path? And so that's a really key concept. I think it's kind of the overall arching energy I'm seeing for June, is really tapping in within yourself and what you truly need and what's in alignment for you or not. On the note of there's gonna be a lot of distractions. Corey highlighted this as well on this. I'm seeing this throughout the summer, where drinking, drugs, all those kind of distraction type of energy is going to be really, really strong. And even self-harm, suicide, things like that. Those things you're going to see increasing in your life. It's actually started to happen already on the planet. It's been slowly building, it feels like, is what I'm seeing as far as many people around us. A lot of people are really being impacted by substance abuse, physical abuse, and then even suicides, unfortunately. So that's something to just keep a reminder on. If you happen to be in a place where you are having some really dark thoughts, number one is try not to use those outside distractions as a way to cope. And this is even if you're not having dark thoughts, but you're just feeling more restless. I'm seeing a lot of restlessness in people's energy right now. They're feeling restless, but also tired. There's a lot of, again, energy pulling us to where we feel disconnected and we're not really sure which way to go. So if you haven't been practicing in your own work to really align with your values and stay grounded within yourself and what you need, it's going to be very easy to be tempted to be pulled. So being mindful about what the distractions might be, where your thoughts might be going, choices you're making. Is this really a path, Peyton mentioned a timeline. Is this something that you really want to see expand and build? Corey mentioned Jupiter expands things. Is this something that you want to see more of in your life? And if that's a no, that is your key to not go down that path. Also, you know, again, if you're around other people who are using outside sources of distracting, you know, you might have to limit for the month of June and possibly emptying even into July and some of August, limiting that interaction just to keep yourself grounded. Not to say you can't ever talk to them, but just be aware of how your interactions with the people around you are impacting your personal life. Again, it's not good or bad. I like to use the word alignment. Is an alignment for you or not? So again, be mindful of those distractions, increases in substance abuse, suicides could be there. If you feel like those dark thoughts are there, definitely look for that support. Okay, look for those people, those resources, those places you can go to get that support, because that is key. This is a temporary energy. We're not going to be here forever, but how you navigate these distractions and where you're being pulled is really going to impact you for the long term. I'm seeing also new cycles closing, the old cycles and old patterns that we've kind of been working through kind of started in 2020 and we're moving into, you know, through this year into 2022. I'm just seeing just old patterns showing up and old ways of being that maybe used to work for us, but don't work for us now. They're coming to the surface to have us have that awareness and to have us choose, again, do we still want this to keep expanding and growing, or do we want to move on to a new path? So just realize if there is some of that old stuff, those old beliefs about yourself, those old patterns that maybe you thought you healed but are showing up again, just know it's kind of that last reminder for you is like, this is why we don't want to go down this path anymore. So it's just that last final, this is leaving our space, and you get to say goodbye and you get to focus on what new steps you want to create moving forward. The surprises coming in is, even though the energies can be really, really strong, if you do your work, meaning if you connect with yourself, if you do whatever you can to get grounded, whether it's meditate, take a class, work with someone, or just go out in nature, journal, whatever it is for you that helps you come back to yourself. If you make a conscious effort to do that on a regular basis, even if you can't do it every day, maybe it's once a week or a couple times a week, you will come out of this so much stronger and so much more excited about your life. And you will actually, I'm hearing the word miracles come through. And so the energies can be intense. It doesn't all have to be doom and gloom. You can actually really take the reins. I'm getting the visual of the Chariot card, where you get to really decide. If you're not familiar with tarot, it's the chariot, and there's two horses, and the person is controlling the horses, and one horse is kind of pointing one direction, another horse is pointing another direction. And so if you are doing your due diligence to connect with your heart, really, like, what do I really want? What's an alignment for me? It's not what do other people want from me? What am I being told? It's like, is this an alignment for me or not? That should be like your number one question. If it's a yes, follow that. If it's a no, even just giving yourself a pause to like rest and understand maybe what would be a better path. If you're not fully certain on what that might be, you're actually going to see pretty miraculous and surprising, like nice surprises coming through to the surface as well. So it's a miracles amongst the chaos is kind of what I'm hearing on that. So, you know, it's not all bad. It's not all to be worried about. You do have the power to really take the reins of your life and really choose, again, what's an alignment for you and what's not. And just asking if there's any last messages for anybody tapping into these videos. You're always safe and you're always protected as long as you align with your heart. Always.
That was beautiful.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
It is beautiful.
I love how they all the messages blended and supported each other.
Yeah. Yes. Because, you know, it does. It supports one. It really does. Yeah. And, you know, we've got that Leo energy, which is big. Mars, Venus, big. retrogrades, all the big planets. Yeah. So take care of yourself. Put you first, and your heart's desires, because Leo rules that heart. And it's time to listen to our hearts.
Yep. Time to turn a new leaf is another thing I'm hearing. So new chapter, new leaf, new cycles. Literally, we're bringing a lot of new ways of being right now.
And it's a great time to take inventory, finances, relationships, home. The retrogrades are a great time to take an inventory of your life. What has it looked like, and where do you want to go from here? The energies are supporting it, so take advantage of it. Especially, we've got the 2 Pisces. That's the spiritual. That is the spiritual realm. That's the spiritual energy. So
it feels like this whole year is supporting us to tap more into our natural intuition, which you all are intuitive, not just, Peyton and Corey, who I'm looking at now, but you watching this video, you are intuitive as well. You do tap into different energies, even if you are clued into that or not, you are sensing it on some level in your space. And so trusting what you're getting for yourself, especially if it's coming from a loving language, that is the message to trust for yourself.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, along those lines that my guides keep saying is it's time to be your own guru, to find the expertise within yourself, not in the outside world, because the outside world's confused. The outside world doesn't know, and you could end up on the wrong path. So choose the path you want to be on, and this is, like Corey said, for this time to reevaluate. If you're on a path you don't like, now is a good time to change it before you get more cemented onto it, basically. So
yeah, to review it, to change it. That Jupiter sometimes can be big energy, so it at times can encourage us to just have that knee-jerk reaction. But like you say, trust your gut. Now is the time to get in touch with that gut, which is your intuition. And your heart. It'll never steer you wrong.
Yeah. Not the time to distract yourself. This is not the time for distractions, whatever those might be. Time to connect with yourself.
But there are big energies to try and distract us. There's very big energies to try and distract us. So
especially if you're
restless.
Do
you first, boo.
Especially if you're restless. If you're restless, you're like, woo, watch out. Well, I hope that was helpful for those of you.
This has actually been a lot of fun. I have a feeling that we will be doing more of these. So, so we can free flow as we do anyways. We go with the energy. So you can find me at Claire Core Energy. That's on Instagram and on YouTube, which is Claire Core. You can find me on clairecore.com, where I have, where you can get an appointment with me. I will be coming up with some short classes that you can take. Also at Intuitive Insights, where I'm teaching along with Yaila, and that's at myintuition.net. And please remember to like, subscribe, and we'd love to hear your comments. We want to know what you all want to hear us talk about, what you want to learn about. We are open and we're here for you. So Yaila, where can we find you?
Thanks, Corey. You can find me on Instagram at Yaila, or my website, yailaweddle.com, where you can schedule one-on-one sessions with me, as well as classes, meditations, upcoming courses. And then finally, my YouTube channel, just Yaila Weddle, basically my name for everything. And I also teach, like Corey said, at Intuitive Insight, School of Intuition at myintuition.net, with some other amazing teachers with classes and workshops. How about you, Peyton?
Yeah, and you, Peyton?
Yeah, you can find me under Peyton Energetics pretty much everywhere. So Instagram at Peyton Energetics, YouTube, Peyton Energetics, where you'll find this entire video series. So if you missed any of our early ones, we have some awesome ones out there. Make sure you check out the entire series. Also, my website, PeytonEnergetics.com, where you'll find all my classes, my mentorships, my meditations. And it's a great way to connect with me. So basically everywhere under the same name.
It's so funny. I have to say this. I can see the Pleidians. They are just like on the back of you. They're like, ah!
They're very excited.
Distracting you. I can see. I know they are. I can see it.
They're so fun. They're so fun, and they're so loving.
They're just like at your back, just like.
I know. I feel an army.
What a blessing. What a blessing. Well, thank you all for joining us. And please look at our other videos. And we will be putting out some more. So we hope you enjoy it. And
see you next Wednesday
again. Thank you. Yes. Every Wednesday.
All right.